Hey, peace, peace, peace. This your brother JAHsh. And just coming in with a vlog, as I sift through rhymes and rhymes and rhymes. So I've been writing lyrics since about 1997 real heavily. And I have to say, over the years, what it reminds me of is the way that it changes over the years. How it's like you write lyrics and you write and write and write, and the different forms develop. But I got to give praises to Yahweh, though, because that's how you know that it's a talent, is that you don't have to think about it. You can just do it. I was actually thinking about going and doing like a vlog or a video or, some sort of tutorial in showing how I write or showing how the lyrics are written. And just to show brothers my method, and if it could help y'all out as far as not getting what's called writer's block, and to, be informative and to give some techniques or some pointers, if you will, in order to be the lyricist that you need to be, right? Because that's what I'm all about when it comes to lyricism, is for the person who wants to be a lyricist, or if Yahweh has anointed you or ordained you a lyricist, then you can become the lyricist that you want to be. So I love writing lyrics, and I am from, I guess, the old school to where I do write lyrics. I can freestyle, but as KRS One said, you can't freestyle through life. So sometimes it's good to just write things. And along the way, I've learned some good pointers, and I've been involved with, or I should say, I've written lyrics with, and what's the word I'm looking for? I guess parlayed, you, if you will, with groups and associates and my peers and my friends, my homies, you know what I'm saying, throughout the years, in regards to just dealing with what's considered hip hop in modern terms, or what's considered rap, which I do, but I don't necessarily consider myself a rapper or a hip hop artist, even though I tried to be a hip hop artist around 98 or so, 99. But since then, I learned that I do have a talent in writing lyrics, and the way my mind works in connecting words and sentences through thought or whatnot, then that's how I can express it. And, and over the years, it's been a blessing. It's been a curse too, because sometimes you write stuff, a lot of times you write things that you're thinking and that are for you. So when you read it, it's like, man, I wrote that about myself, And I need to take that pointer rather than giving out the message as to someone else. But really, that's what writing is about. And personally, writing to me is about exposing yourself more than anything. And that's one reason why I study the Torah, and I'm heavily involved with the scriptures, because when I say scriptures, I mean what's considered the Tanakh, with a little dashed a little bit here and there with some what's considered the New Testament, but I'm not a Greek, and therefore I don't gravitate towards any Greek writings in that retrospect. So, and sorry for all the ums, by the way. Sip some of this coffee. Hold on. But I had it in my mind to do just conversations, man. Some down to earth conversations. Bring brothers and sisters who know me and who've listened to some of the things that I've written or performed, or some of the things discussed in online chats and videos, just to bring it down to earth. Because I'm more of an introvert than I am an extrovert. Even though Yah praises, there's a good balance in that. I didn't want to be so introvert to where I don't just speak my mind and just make something down to earth for all y'all out there that tune in. And so I can explain a little bit how my mind is and the way it works. But yeah, so let's just jump right in. I'm not even sure what this is going to be called, but I'm going to share some of my favorite, or some of the scriptures that jump out at me all the time, or have over the years, because I've been reading for a long time, and not just reading though, and living out these thoughts in my walk, and living out this Torah, this inner Torah, because a lot of people read the Torah and they read it, but it's just a costume for them. They put it on and don't have it within them, and that's a good way that you can tell who is really your peers. Because I have a lot of peers that don't necessarily read the Torah as much as I do, but yet we have a feel for each other, which means that inside we connect. So there's the inner Tawara, the inner head, the water. You know what I'm saying? Salat. So yeah, and let's take it all the way back. How about that? Genesis, or Barashit, right? Berashit. In the beginning, this is from the Stones Tanakh, Stone Edition Tanakh, right? Go out there and copy all one. Order it, or maybe Allahayim will bless you to receive one throughout the various ways that one may receive a Tanakh during these times, whether it be a store, things of that nature. So in the beginning, Bereshit, or Genesis 1:1, in the beginning of God's creating the heavens and the earth, when the earth was astonishingly empty, with darkness upon the surface of the deep, and the divine presence hovered upon the surface of the waters, Allahayim said, "Let there be light," and there was light. It says God, but I say Allahayim in place of that English word. And there was light. God saw that the light was good, and God separated between the light and the darkness. Allahayim called the light day, and to the darkness he called night. And there was evening and there was morning one day. Now this is one of my favorite verses, and I praise Yahweh for delivering this meditation to me, because you can never really stop meditating on this verse alone, because this is the beginning. And particularly in the beginning of God's creating the heavens and the earth. That one statement is enough meditation to last you a lifetime. because in your mind's eye, the eye that you receive the visions from, and that's funny because the vision sounds like divisions or da visions. You get it? Da visions, right? The door of da visions. Okay, in the beginning of God's creating the heavens and the earth, when the earth was astonishingly empty and darkness was on the surface of the deep. So this is a meditation for a lifetime. You can always meditate on that. If you ever need to find stillness and silence within, meditate on creation. Meditate on what Elohim was doing then. And in that meditation, you're forced to be still, because obviously nothing exists at that point besides existence itself. So what does existence itself look like? Right? And this is the thing about the Torah and the Tanakh, that you can't really, or you would be wise to not really force it on people, because there is meditations all throughout this so-called book, because it's a book of thought and it's a book of wisdom, and it should not, all praises to Yah. I was once told that the Tanakh and the Torah, the word, if you will, should not be looked at as a simple book or as a mere book where you can flip the pages, even though allegorically we'll use that in raps or lyrics or whatnot. But you should look at it as a sphere, right? That you can start at one point and go straight through the sphere and end up in another point on the other side, right? This is not like the movie Sphere, where it's about being trapped in and being afraid of enclosed places and hallucinating or anything like that. But it's a sphere. So this is the problem why we have with people who say flat earth. They don't understand the concept of a sphere. They may say, you know, the earth itself is a plane, like a flat plane, right? Inside of a globe. That doesn't make sense because they don't consider the earth as a globe. You know what I'm saying? They have no concept of sphere, right? Essentially, a sphere is an equidistant all the way around. It's not but if you look at it straight on, it has the appearance of a circle. But you know, if you've ever held anything spherical, then you know that even looking at it, if your eyes are right, you might have some bad eyes, then you can tell that it's got curvature to it. So in that mere concept alone, and this is why I'm always talking about meditating on things, because people are subject to just go on the whims of anything. And, you know, I praise God, you know, that even as a child, I never really wholeheartedly went with anything that was fed to me, like as far as information is concerned. Even whenever I was a child going to, you know, Baptist, going to church, you know, and then hearing the stories of Jesus and all this stuff, you know, I never really fed into it as far as man worship. I always had a concept of the Almighty as a being, first and foremost, and a greater being than myself, who I considered a lesser being. You know what I mean? Even as a child, I had that concept, that notion. I didn't necessarily have the idea that, you know, so-called Jesus was going to return. But I did, of course, as a child, you know, you do think about that. But as far as something that I direly hoped for, I never did fall into that, maybe as so much like others did. It's just that over time, Yahweh has refined my understanding of what the greater being is. As we say Yah now, right? Yahweh, he who he be, right? Rather than being arrogant enough to say I am, because as a man, as a soul with a body attachment, if you will, it's very arrogant to say I am, because if you truly are existing, you need not food. Existence does not need to nourish itself. It just is. So for those who consider themselves like I am-alites, if you will, like the GOCC, who always walk around talking about Ahaya, you know, I hope Yahweh is merciful to y'all, you know what I mean? Because you are not the being. And that's something that even a child can understand. But not to veer off course, I just wanted to elaborate on that. And like I said, these logs, these are just some down-to-earth conversations that we're having. You know, and just coming from me, your brother JAHsh. I'm 37, so-called. But I just wanted to get into some of these down-to-earth things. I got to get ready to go to work here shortly, unfortunately, because we are still under a captive state, if you will. But don't fret, man, because any job that you're at, if you give praises to Yahweh for allowing you to even be in a position where you can act righteously, whether it be even in position of captivity, if you will. Just look at the brother Joseph, right? He was in captivity, so to speak, you know, dealing with the so-called Egyptian. But he was able to excel even in as to a point to where he was raised to the next to highest position, if you will. I'm paraphrasing, of course, in Egypt. And in turn, he was able to help his brothers out and also bless the place that at one time was seen as a curse to him, you know? So always be mindful that Yahweh will put you in a situation, even if you can't see it. But if you just trust in Yahweh, then you'll see. You'll see. But just to reiterate what we were talking about, meditation, you have to be still, and you have to be able to get to a point where you can actually be shown these things from Yahweh, because we do get delivered things in visions, and not just visions in your head per se, your own brain, but visions in your soul or your mind. You know, what would be considered the heart of yourself, not your heart in your chest, but your mind. You know, and those visions come with a feeling too. So that's one way we know that Yahweh communicates with us, even though we're not born speaking so-called, you know, the holy tongue per se, because we learn English. But those of us who hear the holy word within, even through this English, you can tell who has the spirit of Yahweh, or who has Yah, I should say, right? Or the active spirit, or wisdom, you know. But let me just cut this short, and I want to get into some lyrics, but you know, that's for another time perhaps. Yah bless you all, and this your brother JAHsh. Shalom, salam, peace.